welcome back to Contact, a Space Engineers series where you probably thought last episode's thumbnail was photoshopped. It was, as you can see, not photoshopped, but it did look it because I think it was just lighting mainly. Yeah, I just messed with gravity. Which one is it? That one. There we go. And actually, I don't know. Do I want to keep... I have to decide. I don't have to decide. I'm wondering if I should keep gravity at full gravity or if I should knock it down to like half gravity. Because I don't need full gravity. We'll knock it down. Why not? It doesn't matter too much, but it does save me a little bit of power. I've got some nice sort of moon-like gravity, using a lot less power. Actually. So where... Hold on. Let's go down. I think the highest spot I could fall... the highest spot I could fall and actually hurt myself is probably off of this. And it doesn't hurt. I might be able to fall a little further, but I think that's pretty good. So, happenings for today. Today, I think the sun's not in a great spot for the shot I'm looking for. That's fine. Most of it's glowing hologram anyway. I think today is work on Stingray. I want to do, or at least begin, the refit. The first part of that, though, is I want the dock to exist. Which... I don't think I'll fully rebuild this side yet, but I need to start this side being fixed, because that's important. So, yeah. Is that... Oh, what do you know? This is cargo access. That's convenient. And can duck in and refill oxygen. Okay. So, first step here, door. Ooh. I can use these things. Though, you know, just from a quick glance, unfortunately, these are very much, there is one floor, and everything else is not floor. On the corridor tubes. So that's fine. We can stick with our original hatches. And obviously, again, this isn't super useful given... Oh. Okay, maybe that's not cargo. That's okay. Yeah. Not super useful given I just flew through the wall to bypass that airlock, but it's here. Having this in will sort of remind me this is a thing that needs to be fixed and put together. I can also, because I'm changing how this works, can get rid of those guys. Kind of go back to, well, a more basic system. Then I think what I'm actually gonna do... This isn't strictly necessary, but it'll just make things easier because it gives me very immediate cargo access. We'll stick that there as sort of the pass-through carrying our conveyor line. And that's what the next step is conveyor line. Which... we're gonna have a bit of a mix of things going on here. I like the round tubes, especially in scenarios like this where they're kind of exposed. So I can do that there. And then have a reinforced tube there, which will provide, so I can put a catwalk along the top there. And that should work pretty well. Now, unfortunately, yeah, that hill is in the way. So maybe... See, I don't want to cut into the rock too much, because I think it'll look better not cut into. But it's also very close here, and I don't know if I have a convenient way to angle along the rock that'll look any good. Here's an idea. So I have plans to do this elsewhere as well. We could start here and actually... Let's see what this'll do. So this drill is obviously not piped to anything. That should be fine. Will it dig some of that ground? Maybe just too high. So I don't care so much about getting material out of this as I do just clearing a path that's even and straight. I don't think the radius of this drill is enough. It's doing something, but... not what I want. Okay, plan B. So plan B here involves a conversion to small grid. And then... in fact, I can just... there we go. I can just put that there and I can angle that drill to the angle I need it. The other option is I could have used the big drill and put a cockpit on it and then right-click drilled. It may have worked, but it would have probably made a wider hole. I don't know if it would have mattered in the end, but... I think this will be fine. See what happens now. I think it needs to be... yeah, that's a good angle. We can keep pulling stuff off it, though. If the drill gets full, I'm not too worried. Because it'll just delete the stuff. And this should create a nice trench that's, well, a nice straight line of trench that hopefully won't look too goofy. Maybe will even be walkable on either side, so I can pave it flat with steel and make it look good. You know, this is sort of my front lawn, so I want it to look respectable. Yeah. Okay, and that's the length I have available. Should have thought this through, because now I have the annoying task of rebuilding this whole thing. Okay. Our angle is negative 52.5. So if we remember that. Okay. Negative 52.5. Got 2 pistons now. Dump this stone in. And we add our drill. I could do this with both pistons moving, but it'll be easier to just... I want to go... So I need the drill at the same angle it was, and I want to be moving at the same speed, because that should sort of keep this trench, well, keep it looking the same. Consistent. I think I need to get about here-ish. I may need one more piston to make that happen. But height-wise is looking good because I'll be able to place these tubes. It sort of looks like that's still sloping up, though. I may be going too quick. My drill pushes. Let's see what we get. It's probably not going to be perfect. We've still got these bumpy bits, but it should, at the very least, this means I have a fairly easy and relatively subgrid free connection, at least for this part. I'll probably do a... Actually, I think what I'll do is as this comes out, I'll have it stick out a bit to where I can have a subgrid sort of 45-degree connector. And then I'll build a platform on this side that is aligned with the angle of the Stingray. So hopefully that's nice and easy. And I may even... Ooh. I may... So part of the... There's heavy refit going on in the Stingray. Part of that may be... I've had issues with these docking pistons. Maybe I get rid of those and instead have the docking piston on the base. So as I fly close, the piston extends out and connects to a connector that's down here below the hatch. Ah. Dang. We almost made it the full distance. I'm gonna reverse these at the same speed. That way it should sort of... Any stone that wasn't got, it'll do another little pass here. Hopefully even everything out. I may just have to knock this last little bit off with my drill. Alright. Away with the drill. Take that last little bit of stone. So now we should be able to get rid of all this, continue our line across, and then figure out how we're gonna get the connection parts doing. So I've got a scheme for this. So you can see, we can't actually see the conveyor in the little block from here. So I'm not gonna bother with it. They're obviously still in there. They're still connected. And actually, we could have done to go a little deeper, I think. In general. Because I was kind of expecting to be able to walk on the blocks for more than we will be able to. But that's fine. It may actually benefit us a bit here. So if we, for this section, raise ourselves up a half block. So for this stretch here, we have catwalk.
Energy low.
Then we transition up to the half block to walk along here, which puts us pretty much on level with this. Do I care? Maybe I don't care. This is walkable. It works. And what I may do, just to avoid this little bump there, I won't do it yet, but we'll plan to cover these with plate, which will give us just a little bit more height and should make it feel a little better. So then we come out here. We're now out of gravity, but obviously misaligned to the ship by 90 degrees. Which shouldn't be an issue. If we can figure out how to... If I can figure out how to do the thing I'm thinking of doing. So I'll need that to come out to there. That gives me room to build a hinge. That hinge will let me angle over to something over here that can be aligned. The issue is, well, the biggest issue here is going to be height, because I kind of want the ship to be at that height, because that puts it dead center of the hole. But that may actually be fine. Let's get more electricity. Let's try something here. It should tell us how effective this plan is going to be. And I can test it as I am now. So if I get this to the correct angle, which may involve clipping into the rock again, like so, I need to transition that corner. And I don't think I'm going to be able to in the way I'd like. My first thought, yeah, is to use these guys, but I mean, that actually, so that bit's awkward, but when you're just walking it, that doesn't feel too bad. The other option is to do my transition here, where I walk up like that, and then if this lets it place, and I don't, yeah, no, it won't do it. Okay, this may work. Oh, that's close. That'll be wrong. My goal is to get plate sort of down here in such a way. Unfortunately, I think the angle is just wrong. Okay, so I'm thinking neither option here is looking very good. I could try one thing, because I don't strictly need this. I don't need this as tight of an angle as I have it. So if we angle that out a bit, can I get an angle? Ooh, that's promising. Can I get it at an angle where this will work? No, I think it's always going to be colliding. Again, I can get one where that works. Okay. Well, with that being the case, maybe we do this whole deal differently. Okay. I've got a crazy scheme here. So I wasn't liking how long this was going. I think... Yeah. Okay. So if I have 2 full cubes here, and I do this, and this, that's pretty walkable. Now what if, instead, I do that. Almost. It's kind of a weird, awkwardy thing. Okay, let's just see how this feels. It's a pretty sharp change in the middle there. I could adjust that a bit by pulling this back if I convert this out from the station. But what this sort of height lets us do is then have this here, which changes our angle out. And then my crazy scheme here is to have the second hinge here so that I can angle across the asteroid, then angle down to get to the height I want. Making it walkable at the other end is going to be a challenge. But from this end, let's stick that in there. So from this end, I go from walking on this level, transition there, transition there. That's a 90-degree off of the angle I was walking. That then lets me put another one of these in to walk down this. Huh. Okay, I'll be honest, I didn't expect this to take quite so long as it's taking to figure out. So I've got this whole mechanism here. And it works and it does the job, but
Energy
God, is it
low.
ugly. It just, I don't like any of it. So I think I'm gonna get rid of it again. So without that, we have some tubes. I think what I may do here, I think my original idea is gonna work better. Where instead of kind of going around, I just keep walking along the outer surface. Can walk over this thing. Then when I get to this end, I can have a big building that'll give me more room for that gravity transition. And a lot of this is kind of a moot point anyway, because I have a feeling most of the time I'm just going to fly to the ship. But I like the idea of it being walkable, even if it's not usefully walkable. So, okay. That means step one is to convert this back again so I can adjust our angle. Yeah. I guess -45 works. And just to keep it kind of flush, I'll keep my angle going. Actually, I may be able to work. Let's extend this one more, and then I think I can work with this. Did that work? No. Yeah, crud. Is this a station? That may be my issue. It's starting to get hard to keep track. Nope. Ah, dang it. Whoop. There it goes. There was just enough jiggle going on that it was tripping the movement sensor. So now we can ignore that. That should all work, and I can drop this down. Yeah, probably to there. Okay. So now we walk along this surface until we get here. I could just have a smooth arc that goes to there. Oh yeah, this was definitely the right call. Okay. If that's the case, I can get rid of some of these guys now. I just need a piston and a connector. It's a piston. Connector. Yeah, that's a pretty good distance when it's tucked in from the wall. And I know exactly the parts I want for the transition here. So one of them. One of them. One of them. So, as I walk from the base, I will walk along this, which will have catwalk. Walk along this, end up here. Then, I walk along that convenient curve, step onto the piston, which will be extended, and I walk out along it and the connector. Unfortunately, there's no way to put catwalk there and have it extend, so that'll be a little jank looking. But, I mean, that was how it worked with the piston on here anyway. And this way, when the armor gets deformed, it won't cause the ship to move weird. Okay, I like that. Let's weld. Alright, we have a finished walkway. So if we go along, I paved all this over with some steel, put up some nice railings. Yeah, that jump's not great, but it sort of works. You can do it without too much awkwardness. You don't get stuck. They have nice railings kind of protecting along that whole thing. Same there. And then down and out. Now the angle is not perfect. That should be okay. Though I don't really love it. Okay. I have a scheme here. And actually, maybe it's a scheme I want to do in general. Ooh, yeah. I can still have handrails along this bit. And what this'll mean. Okay. I'll get close. Hopefully, none of those blocks are in voxel. Which means I can get rid of these. Everything should hold together.
Inventory full.
Put that in there for now. And I should... Yes, convert to ship. So now I can adjust this hinge. Now that I kind of have a better visual. I can adjust that. Back a little bit. Nope, other back. I think that's good. Yeah, adjust that so it should be pretty much perfect. Ah, crud. Oh. I keep spamming it. Come on. There we go. Now all is good. Now the last thing I want to do... Oh, one more. Yeah. So I'm gonna build a little... Dang. Kinda need it to come out even one more than that, but I don't want to. My goal here is to have sort of a line that I can put lights on that'll both light up the Stingray in its docking area and provide me a sort of line to align myself to as I come in. So maybe I don't do it there. Okay, this I think will do nicely. Except for it does disappear into the rock. But if I have an upper and a lower sort of arm going along, that gives me plenty of clearance for the ship while still having the ability to light up everything I want to. Interestingly, this is giving me an even clearer idea that my angling to the ship is drastically wrong. And yet again, actually, okay. We'll leave that there. Hopefully these are still connected. If I disconnect from here. Okay. We do our re-angle one more time.
Energy
So this
critical.
time, hopefully it'll be much easier to align ourselves to the Stingray. Uh-oh. Oh. Interesting. I'm not sure why that decided to fill with ice. Did the inventory manager blow up? No? Seems to be good. Get where the actual computing
No
block
energy.
was. Uh-oh. Well, that's fine, I suppose. We can... We'll fix that in a minute. We'll do this. Big stick should help me tell what's going on. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to do this piecemeal because I can't see everything at once. Yeah. Okay, that looks like it's just a little over. How does that look? A little under. Again, this doesn't have to be strictly perfect, but the more I can see that it isn't perfect, the more it makes me want it to be. That may be it. The ship will have to adjust a little, but I think that'll be good. And the other reason I'm doing this is it makes the clearance here a lot better. So it'll make it easier to do what I want with my liney thing. Okay. Oh, almost had it. Come on. Come on. Come on, station. Oh. Hold on, is it giving me... I think it's giving me an error. Why would it give me an error? Okay. Now that I know I'm in position, let's simplify this whole thing. Hope that helps us. You can do it. There we go. Yeah, for some reason it didn't like a position of this, I guess. Alright. And for a fourth and final time, I think that looks good. Alright. Metal beam coming out there. Extend it out this way. Alright. Metal beam kind of running the length of the chasm. That is good. Now down here, replace this guy with a T-piece. Well, I should have gotten the parts for beforehand. because I want to emulate this beam on the bottom with conveyor blocks. The reason I want to do that, because this is the perfect position for 2 more defense guns. Alright. That is that build. That took a lot more time than I anticipated. Whole lot of stuff. I'm amazingly still doing pretty good on resources after all this. I did have quite a lot stockpiled, though I imagine we may be starting to get low on a couple odds and ends. But we can, well, hopefully we have enough to get to the Stingray refit next week. So for now, thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to check out the other stuff I've done, and until next week, bye bye.